And also, I heard just yesterday evening that today is a big celebration on Govindadvip. It's a Radha Govinda festival.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wow. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, chapter 1, text 60. But before we read, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Today's verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita is in fact Srimad Bhagavatam verse.
Oh, it's
Okay, yeah, it's Adi Leela, chapter 1, text 60. If you have it there, yeah. The very famous Bhagavatam verse. If you want to chant with me, you're welcome. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido. You have it?
Satam prasagam mama virya samvido.
Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha.
Bhavati vitkarna rasayana kataha.
Tachchoshanat asvapavarga vartmani.
Chatushasnana asvavako vartamani.
Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati.
Shraddha ratta bhakti ranu kramanisyati.
Satam prasangan mama virya samvido.
Satam prasangam mama virya samvido.
Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha.
Bhavanti vitkana rasayana kataha.
Tachchoshanat asvapavarga vartmani.
Chatushanana dasavana pavraka bhakti sarvatmani.
Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati.
Shraddha rati bhakti anurakramanasya.
Satam prasangan mama virya samvido.
Satam prashanakam mama virya samvito.
Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha.
Bhavanti vitkarna rasayana kataha.
Tachchoshanat asvapavarga vartmani.
Chatusanatasa parapavako vartamani.
Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati.
Shraddhana rati bhakti anakramasyati.
Word for word. Satam,
Satam
of the devotees.
of the devotees.
Prasangat,
Prasangat
by intimate association.
by intimate association.
Mama,
Ama
of me.
of me.
Virya samvidaha,
Virya samvita.
talks full of spiritual potency.
Talks for the spiritual potency.
Bhavanti,
Bhavanti
appear.
appear.
Hrit,
Rit
to the heart.
to the heart.
Karna,
Karna
to the ears.
to the ears.
Rasa ayanaha,
Vasanayanaha.
a source of sweetness.
The source of sweetness.
Katha,
Kata
talks.
talks.
Tat,
Tat
of them.
them.
Choshanat,
Josanat
from proper cultivation.
from proper cultivation.
Ashu,
Ashu
quickly.
quickly.
Apavarga,
Apavarga
of liberation.
of liberation.
Vartmani,
Vartmani
on the path.
on the path.
Shraddha,
Shraddha
faith.
faith.
Ratihi,
Ratihi
attraction.
attraction.
Bhaktihi,
Bhaktihi
love.
love.
Anukramishati,
Akruramanishati
will follow one after another.
will follow one after another.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Hi, Srila Prabhupada. The spiritually powerful message of Godhead can properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens to him, and gradually he attains a taste in knowledge that in due course develops into attraction and devotion. Short purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25, where Kapila Dev replies to the questions of his mother Devahuti about the process of devotional service. As one advances in devotional activities, the process becomes progressively clearer and more encouraging. Unless one gets the spiritual encouragement by following the instructions of the spiritual master, it is not possible to make advancement. Therefore, one's development of a taste for executing these instructions is the test of one's devotional service. Initially, one must develop confidence by hearing the science of devotion from a qualified spiritual master. Then, as he associates with devotees and tries to adopt the means instructed by the spiritual master in his own life, his misgivings and other obstacles are vanquished by his execution of devotional service. Strong attachment for the transcendental service of the Lord develops as he continues listening to the messages of Godhead. And if he steadfastly proceeds in this way, he is certainly elevated to spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How positive is that?
Very.
Tam prasangan mamavirya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tachchoshanada svapavargavartmani sradharatir bhaktir anukramishyati. This is a Chaitanya Charitamrita translation. The spiritually powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens to him, and gradually he attains a taste in knowledge that in due course develops into attraction and devotion. Let me quickly just read Srimad Bhagavatam's, the original translation, which is slightly different. Okay, this is Canto 3, Chapter 25, verse 25. Bhakti-Vishramba Madhava Maharaj once was joking that Vyasadeva purposefully chose good verses with good numbers. 25, 25. You know, Vyasadeva had a transcendental joke by doing that. So the Bhagavatam translation is as follows. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and therefore he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So this is a Bhagavatam's version of this verse. Omakyanatimirandasya kyananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha Sri Chaitanya manophistam stapitam yena bhutale svayam rupa kadamahyam tatati svapatantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunattan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Kopesha Kopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Indra Swami Nityanamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatya Deshatarine. Somehow or other, I'm fortunate to be able to speak on this epic, famous verse, which is a very essential to understand. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing the spiritual encouragement that comes from following the instructions of the spiritual master. The spiritual encouragement. It's interesting the way Srila Prabhupada puts it. And then, unless one gets this spiritual encouragement, it is not possible to make advancement. And therefore, one's development of a taste for executing these instructions is the test of one's devotional service. Taste for executing instructions. That means when we receive instruction from the spiritual master, we may not always feel very enthusiastic to execute that instruction. So that we might not have that taste in the beginning to execute that instruction. The instruction can be challenging and can be difficult. It means you have to come out from your comfort zone. You have to control your mind and senses. You have to discipline yourself in order to execute that instruction. It is, which is very, it's very bitter for a conditioned soul. Can be. Because of the material association and contamination. But this is the process. We have to develop that taste for executing these instructions. And Srila Prabhupada repeatedly pointed to that purport in Bhagavad Gita 241. Vyavasayatmika Bodhi, in the purport that describes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comment on this verse, that one should accept the instructions of spiritual master as one's life and soul. That's right. So even if we don't feel so inspired to execute certain instructions of a spiritual master, but just by hearing these words of Prabhupada, that what type of attitude we should have towards the instructions, that to accept them as one's life and soul, then one can become enthusiastic for executing them. Because Srila Prabhupada repeatedly mentioned, and he made a statement that for the conditioned soul who has got the fortune of becoming in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, the only program should be, which means the only worry in life should be how to execute the instructions of the spiritual master. Yeah, there could be so many other worries, but they're all unnecessary. The only worry, which means full absorption in these instructions. And so this verse, Satam Prasangan Mama Vidya Samvido Pamanti Hri Karnar Sana Gatha, it emphasizes obviously the importance of the association of devotees, the sadhu sangha. Association of devotees, it's absolutely necessary for making any spiritual advancement, any tangible progress on a path of devotional service, and in developing our attachment for Krishna. You cannot do that without association with devotees. It's really a science. It is also science, yes, how to associate with devotees. There are many statements kind of quickly picked up from various purports of Srila Prabhupada, where Prabhupada explains the importance of the association of devotees. The association of great saintly person is very important, because even if one is not advanced in knowledge, simply by association with the great saintly person, one can immediately make considerable advancement in spiritual life. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Sastragoi, Lava Matra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoi. The Lava Matra, as I Remember, it is 1/11 of a second. 1/11. So this 1/11 of a second of association of pure devotee can just propel you, give you more advancement than lifetimes otherwise on your own feeble attempts. Simply by associating with the pure devotee, one becomes wonderfully advanced in Krishna consciousness. Sadhu Sangha, or association with a devotee, means always engaging in Krishna consciousness by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and by acting for Krishna. One desiring perfection or liberation should associate with a person who is already liberated. This is called Sadhu Sangha. And if one is serious about escaping Maya's influence and returning home back to Godhead, one must associate with sadhu. That is the verdict of all scriptures. So Prabhupada is emphasizing, and scriptures are emphasizing, the value, the importance of devotee association. Personally, of course, needless to say, my life totally changed because of the association of devotees. First of all, I got Srila Prabhupada's books. I was reading them on my own at first for a couple of months. It had very powerful effect on me, no doubt. But remember that when I met devotees who are actually practicing these books, then everything accelerated amazingly, and then I also experienced how valuable is association of devotees, how powerful, and especially when I was living in temple, even in my own country. Sometimes you have to visit your relatives, your parents, it's a normal thing to visit, right, your parents. But unfortunately, none of them are devotees. So one principle Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching is asat sangha tyaga, right? Somebody asks in Chaitanya Charitamrita, who is a devotee? What is a symptom of devotee? And then one answer Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives is asat sangha tyaga. One who rejects the association of non-devotees. This is one of the symptoms of a devotee. Description of devotee, asat sangha tyaga. So yes, so I had to visit my relatives, part of our social dealings, our social obligations. And I specifically try to never stay overnight. Always return by the evening back to the temple, because I realized how one sense contaminating the association can be. Yeah, even in a short time. But yes, I remember always coming back as soon as I arrived back to temple from my trip to relatives, I could immediately appreciate the association of devotees so much more than if I wouldn't have gone to visit my relatives, because then I could really see the contrast. People are simply absorbed in the lower modes of nature, bereft of spiritual knowledge, no Krishna Katha happening in their lives, there's no prasadam, no service to the Lord, no discussion of scriptures in their association. It's just chewing the chewed. Absolutely tasteless, and not only tasteless, but it can drag you down. So, yes, I became very cautious, spending the minimum necessary time with my relatives. And I see it was the right thing to do. Yeah, because to protect our consciousness, in one sense, should be the first priority in our life, because unless your own hands are untied, you cannot untie anyone else's hands. Means unless when you lose your Krishna consciousness, then what help can you offer to anyone who is deeply immersed in illusory energy? So the association of devotees is priceless gift. Why? Because in the association of devotees who are endeavoring on this path of transcendental service to the Lord, naturally their good qualities develop. The good qualities of the soul, they come out. In the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5.18.12. Yes, there's this famous verse. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunastatra samasate sura harab abhaktasya kuto mahatkura manorathena sadithavato pahi. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? It's a very strong statement. So one who is engaged in devotional service, all the good qualities gradually develop. And if you associate with those persons, it will rub off. You can't help but also develop good qualities in their association. And in this particular verse, 5.18.12, there's a list of 26 Vaishnava qualities Prabhupada mentions. Yes, so the association of devotees is essential, it's crucial, it is the most valuable gift we have received. And I always remember the pastime my spiritual master often tells when he traveled with Srila Prabhupada from America to London. He got the fortune of being one of Srila Prabhupada's assistants and then fly in the same airplane and actually sit almost next to Prabhupada. And then, so he tells, in connection to this point, he tells how when they were boarding the airplane in New York or somewhere in America, whatever airport, the security official, asked Srila Prabhupada, open your bag, before boarding the plane, and Srila Prabhupada had this small white bag with his personal belongings, and for some reason, at that moment, Srila Prabhupada was not able to open the zipper of the bag, and the custom agent there became impatient and a little bit rude and said, I said, open your bag. He said to Srila Prabhupada, I said, open your bag, more strongly. And my Guru Maharaj grabbed the man, the official, from pulled him. He said, if you talk again in this way to my spiritual master, I will break your face. He was young and strong, and And the man went on immediately, okay, taken back, and then said, okay, then you open this bag. And so my Guru Maharaj opened the bag, and then he said how he was looking into the bag. He was so curious to see what's in Srila Prabhupada's bag. And then it describes how the official said that, no, I'm supposed to look in this bag, not you. and anyway, then they went to the airplane, and on the way to the airplane, to the steps, to the stairs that lead up to the airplane, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, what's your name? Indradyumna? Did you see this man? They have no good qualities because they have no good association. Do you understand? And my Guru Maharaj, he was very nervous being with Srila Prabhupada, so he naturally, he's just like, yes, Prabhupada, yes. And then Prabhupada, after some time, repeated same thing. He said, you see, they have no good qualities. They only associate with the with lower modes. Do you understand, Indradyumna? Yes, Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada repeated the same thing third time. Maybe he sensed he didn't understand or something. You see, there's no good qualities because they have no good association. And Guru Maharaj explains that then I understood. I really got the point. They have no good association. And in this way, you cannot develop the genuinely good qualities, which are just natural for the jiva, for the soul in its pure state of existence. Yes, so exactly confirmed, but the verse of Bhagavatam here explains that without being engaged in an unalloyed devotional service, no one can have what is it? No one can have all the good qualities because they're all on mental platform somehow or other. And even if some non-devotee seemingly manifests some good qualities, we often see, right? Non-devotees, they're maybe generous, they're kind, polite, but even that is, it can be which usually it is also a sort of material conditioning. So it's not, coming from spiritual platform, because they don't engage in devotional service. Although they might be in a mode of goodness, more or less, mode of goodness can be prominent in their lifestyle. Therefore, they might be manifesting these qualities. But as soon as you interrupt their nice life with some circumstance, situation where their patience and tolerance and their kind qualities are being tested, then immediately the demon comes out. So, which means they don't really possess that, on a deeper level, these good qualities. So again, association of devotees, how valuable it is, and how much we, in our own lives, we should constantly appreciate and take advantage also of the association of devotees. And therefore, the first offense to the holy name, we should, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for the propagation of the holy names of the Lord. So this is the first thing that blocks our progress on spiritual path and devotional service. because devotees are so dear to Krishna, and we absolutely depend on their association. Yes, oftentimes it may be challenging to associate with devotees. it can be challenging, especially on our unpure state of consciousness, when the impurities are still in the heart, and then we see according to our consciousness, right? We see this person is like that, and this person has that fault, and this one has this deficiency, and that one is kind of okay, but on and on and on. Very dangerous. And Krishna absolutely doesn't appreciate. So the safest way is to be Trinadapi Sunichana Taroriva Sahishnuna Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari. The safest place is to always see everyone else as better than myself. If you look at the songs of the Acharyas, they all see themselves as like total materialists, and everyone else is better than themselves. So this is the safest position, where you don't commit this offense of offending devotees, or minimizing them, their value. And that requires work. That requires internal work, constant effort. And therefore, one part of the work which is required to be able to appreciate devotees is really we have to carefully guard against the offenses to the holy name, and especially inattentive chanting. Because if you don't endeavor to chant attentively, then sooner or later you end up, committing some offenses to the devotees. Because you don't get that as that protection from the holy name. You don't get that spiritual intelligence which is required to stop yourself from acting according to your material conditioning and anarthas. So that spiritual strength comes from sincere endeavor. Actually, I'm not tuned into the I'll just switch on quickly the Dublin Krishna Temple. Yeah. And another point, why Srila Prabhupada expects us all to develop these Vaishnava qualities, is that he said that this International Society for Krishna Consciousness has only one purpose: to offer the association, the purifying association of sadhus to all the people in the world. So this is really, it really puts serious responsibility upon all of us to become those sadhus who are able to, purify those we come in contact with. Oh, got it. It's online. Yeah, just imagine how big responsibility you all have to take this process very seriously, because Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Parampara is putting a lot of hope on us, individually and collectively, to become pure, because there's nothing lacking in this world, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. There's nothing lacking. Everything is in abundance, except
Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, Krishna consciousness. and that's our role to play. That's our part. Really have to become sadhus in order to offer sadhu sangha. And the centers, including this center here in Dublin City, that's the purpose of being in the city center, to offer people opportunity for association of devotees. That means we have to become serious. Yes. And also Srila Prabhupada says that so that the discussions on the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. Very pleasing and satisfying. But at the same time, Prabhupada says that discourses in the society of devotees can take place only between those who are or amongst those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part of such discourses. Yes.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. Discourses in the society of devotees can take part only amongst those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part. So
you have the greed.
We have to have a creed. Laulyam. I want Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita Chatusloki, the same thing is confirmed. It's significant that the same point is made in Chatusloki. Chatusloki is like a core 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, right? Machita matkata prana pothayanta parashparam kathayantas chamam nityam dushanti cha ramanti cha. That the discussion, same point, the discussion, I forgot the exact translation. We have here Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, I want to get this right. So 10th chapter 10 verse 9. Yeah. The translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Wow. So, yeah. I would like to conclude by reminding myself, and perhaps all of us, about the value of devotee association, and then and taking a full advantage of devotee association and trying to maximize our devotee association. Yes, nowadays association can be often online as well, but there is something special with being in a physical association of devotees, which gives us actually opportunity to render some physical service. So, yes. I proceed with the questions, and I see Sri Rupa Prabhu says, Srila Prabhupada also quotes this verse in a purport in the 4th canto. In that purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a definition of the association of devotees as acting for Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. I find this very interesting, and I'm wondering what it means. Please, Prabhu, could you help us understand this statement of Srila Prabhupada? The statement is the definition of the association of devotees as acting for Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sri Rupa Prabhu. With your blessings. Yes, help to understand. Acting for Krishna. This is the essence of Krishna consciousness, acting for Krishna. That's what puts us apart from anything else in this world, or any other, you can say, group of people, because everyone usually acts for themselves, more or less. Acting for Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. This is the essence, acting for Krishna. Haitukya pratihatam yatma suprasidati. Unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. And chanting Hare Krishna. Well, chanting Hare Krishna is one sense acting for Krishna. Right, it is devotional service. Sravanam Kirtanam, it goes under the category of Kirtanam, chanting Hare Krishna. And God, chanting Hare Krishna is considered our, one sense, main devotional service, or most important activity we are supposed to perform every day. Chanting Hare Krishna, at least our prescribed minimum number of rounds that we promised to our spiritual master. So this is the most important service we perform every day, and everything else is extra. Right? All the other duties are bonus, but the minimum, these rounds of japa, with as much attention and devotion as we can master. Acting for Krishna. Yes, acharyas, they recommend, before starting to perform any activity in devotional service, to dedicate it mentally for Krishna. So that before you perform any service, you think, Krishna, this is for you. It takes practice. Sometimes I remember that point, but only after that. After I finish my workout, for example. Obviously I do my workout, which is my service for Krishna, but I remember the point only after, consciously. So then I think, I should try remember it before I start.
At least you remembered it.
At least I remembered, yeah. But yeah, the point is to make that conscious offering. Please, Krishna, accept this is for you. This is acting for Krishna.
And or the spiritual master, or if you dedicate it to the spiritual master.
For the spiritual master.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Right. Another point about the association of devotees, just I don't know if that answers Srila Prabhu. I'm sure there's many more deeper levels of answers and understandings on this point. But I wanted to mention that when Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan, then before that, Uddhava was very intimate associate of Krishna in Dwarka, and his very close friend and advisor to Krishna, and Uddhava got the most opportunities to be with Krishna, very close next to Krishna in all kind of circumstances. So when Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan with the purpose of seeing the devotion of gopis and Vrajavasis, so before Uddhava went to Vrindavan, it is described that he had a little subtle pride because his special mercy, I'm very intimate friend of Krishna, and but when he arrived to Vrindavan, then he saw the level of devotion that Vrajavasis had, and then it shocked him. That like is described, it shattered his pride, and he became very humble, and then he could really appreciate the depth of devotion that the devotees in Vrindavan have for Krishna. And it really opened his eyes, and then his prayers are that please let me become just a straw or piece of grass in Vrindavan, so that the gopis and Rajavasis will step on me and I get their mercy, the dust from their lotus feet. So the point is that because Uddhava got the association of the highest devotees, it was like paradigm shift. His understanding, everything changed for him. So this is another great value of association of devotees that happened to me so often. I meet somebody who really shakes my reality. Some devotee, some devotee who is so serious, so sincere in their service, and in I get totally new understanding of what's possible, right? What's possible, and then what I should be aspiring for in my own devotional service, in my own Krishna consciousness. It's like, so this is a great mercy. You meet somebody who is so elevated that can shake you out from your illusory understanding of your, whatever. In understanding that you're doing pretty well in your devotional service and in your Krishna consciousness. You meet somebody who is so advanced, and then you become humble. I'm really far away. So, association of devotees, sadhu sangha, can give you this mercy. Anyway. Hare Krishna. You have something, Anantam?
Obviously association really important, and you take on qualities. This is why it's important to really value the association of devotees, because we're always at the statement there's no association is better than bad association.
Oh.
So, for example, just from my own thing, say in your life you may have it's a bit gross, but I remember, you go to the pub.
A little closer to that.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, I understood the value of association. From my own life. You go to a certain place, and then I remember I used to get down. I didn't know what to do in my life at one point, and I went down to the pub. I thought, what else do I do? Whatever. And I used to talk philosophy in the pub, not high philosophy, just inquiring what's life, whatever. And all the people, the so-called friends that were there, they didn't know, but they thought I was a bit odd, And then over the course of weeks, then I stopped talking philosophy and just the same old nonsense that they were talking. And then obviously, then I remember the first time I met devotees, and they were in I think they were from Chaitanya College, and they thought, who are these people? They're from somewhere else, but I was too shy to approach them. I was too shy, But that effect, that association had a deep effect on me, I always used to think of it, even though it was just a couple of minutes. So they were chanting on the street in Birmingham. I was with my mother, and then but that always affected me. And in the association of devotees, I remember there's one. I was we were reading from Bhagavatam in the morning. I was in Soho Street, and just 2 or 3 of us would read. Not Bhagavatam, we were reading from Nectar of Devotion in the morning, just before Guru Puja. We'd always get together, and that brief period of only say 15-20 minutes in the morning would really clear up my ignorance, because I thought, oh yeah, like you were was saying, you know, and very important to be shaken out of this ignorance.
Yes, very important.
And that's the value of association.
Exactly. We absolutely depend on the association and devotees. Dina Prabhu said, anyone who thinks they can become Krishna conscious without that association are living in hallucination. Hallucination. Yes, so very, very nice point Ananta Nitaya Prabhu made is that no association is better than bad association, right? But of course, sometimes we are in a situation where we don't have a devotee association around us physically. You know, unfortunate, but at the same time, in the situation like this, it is described that then the association is the instruction of devotees. Instruction of our spiritual master and other senior devotees, our authorities, is the association of devotees. When we execute their instructions, we are associating with devotees. That's very positive.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yes, nice.
I just want to really quick, I may have mentioned this before, but you were on about in association with devotees. Is it 1/12 of a second or something? One moment.
Yeah, Lavamatra, yes.
And then I remember Tamal Krishnaraj, and he visited Surrey Street, and there's a devotee called Dharma Setu, and Dharma Setu said, I'm gonna get. I'm telling this before, but I always remember it. And Dharma Setu says, I'm gonna try and get Tamal Krishnaraj to notice me, you know, right? You know, and he went out and he distributed 80 big books, big books on Oxford Street, you know. And then and I was helping him either count the money or what. I was helping him, right? And I wasn't very good at distributing books. And I was thinking, Tamal Krishnaraj isn't going to notice me. That's what I thought. You know, it was really funny. But I mean, I wasn't not in an envious way. I wasn't doing like that. You know. So it happened. And then on the Sunday morning, and he basically did it. He did the 80 books, which was amazing, you know. And then the next day, they read out the scores on the Sunday. Then Tamal Krishnaraj was there and he says, Who is this Dharma Setu? Because they read the score on it, and Dharma says, it's me. And then he's got his wish, he's got his desire. That was amazing, you know.
Okay.
And then later on in the afternoon, I was outside the Govindas, and Tamal Krishnaraj was there, and he had his back to me and was talking to a crowd of people, you know, and I was just walking past, and all of a sudden he turned round, right, from the people who were talking to him, and looked me straight in the eyes, and then turned round again and carried on the conversation.
So he noticed you.
Yes, he noticed it. And I was stunned. You know, and he noticed me. He was Hare Krishna. There you go. That's the mercy of a devotee.
Nice.
Not an ordinary person.
Right. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I'm not sure if you heard devotees online, but I wanted to make it a little more organic so that Ananta Nitaya Prabhu, we have some little discussion and sharing of experience. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity and your attention. And please, yes, let us all appreciate the association of devotees as our greatest treasure. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Radha Govinda ki jai.